Hello, lovers. So, a few months ago, decided, somewhat on a whim, that I wanted to learn how to speedrun Half-Life. I've been playing this game on and off for I don't know how long. I don't think I played it like right when it came out in the late 90s, but I was playing FPS games back then. Anyway, this is a recent thing and I'm not at all good at it yet. I wouldn't call myself a speedrunner. I am a baby speedrun learner or whatever. But I thought it might be fun to sort of share my process with people and talk about, how to learn stuff and apply my knowledge of how to learn things, as a musician or whatever, to this skill. So, if you're new to speedrunning, I'd recommend that you go check out a couple of tutorials that I will link in my description. At the very least, watch like the first videos in them to where you can get like an overview of like how to like what client to like where to find the software and how to configure it and everything. I'm going to kind of assume anybody who's watching this, I'm going to assume sort of a basic familiarity with some of the, sort of basic speedrunning techniques, but you don't need that. You can just watch for fun and learn something if you like. I definitely like it if anybody who knows how to do this better than me wants to, add anything, give some tips and tricks. Hopefully this is interesting and maybe it can give support to other folks who want to learn this, and we can, sort of geek out about it and so forth. Anyway, so I want to share a couple of my configuration files. In my regular config file, I have all my key bindings. Some of them are a little weird, but what's probably most interesting is my user config file. So here's where I have some of my more specific run related stuff. So this here is for toggling my FPS with my middle mouse button. This here is for deciding which, what FPS value I'm going to toggle. And then here is going to be for toggling the pixelated graphics, which you need sometimes. And then I also have another one called BXT, which takes advantage of several specific functions that are part of Bunny Mod, which you absolutely need. Bunny Mod is the thing that shows the speed and also has these extra things like auto jump, show triggers, and show hidden entities. So for practicing running, I always have these on. So I put in exec bxt.cfg, and so when I open up a new run, you'll see all these triggers and things. So that way I can see all the triggers and borders and everything, which is super useful. I'm also using auto jump all over the place because I don't yet have my scroll wheel timing, down for the jumps, but I still want to be able to sort of plan my route and practice the movement. Still learning this sort of auto strafe thing here, where you start where you move sideways and then swipe your mouse to the side and you get a better starting speed.
We need to talk about your TPS reports.
So,
Greetings.
Anyway, so I guess I'll just meander through the first part of the run. first thing is you gotta, you have to open up a save that has a crosshair in it, and then run, and you'll get your crosshair. Won't stick around if you do any save unloading, of course. So the first thing, of course, is just like, you know, planning your route with your hops here, and like right there, I found that you have to either time it really good, or duck there. And then there's that scientist that comes in the way, and you have to dodge him. You know, but then you get in here, and I could wall strafe if I don't have a B-hop. Ideally, you know, if you're B-hopping, you just sort of like fly over here and you know, press this button while you're moving. And also, ideally, you should be able to jump. There's a special way to jump from there to there without going around like this. So, anyway. Oh, you know, I wonder if this would make a difference. I want to see. Anyway, so pre-strafe, boom. That's not bad. And then we get to the guard letting you in.
Talk about your TPS reports.
There's some tricks to get him go a little faster, but you know, they save marginal time compared to all the other things in this game. So here's like here's a bit of a tricky thing, because I'm on my way. Yeah, I hear you. So here's a thing where it doesn't save a whole ton of time, but the thing you do is you jump off the side here and grab onto the ladder. Which, oh my god, I did the first time! Oh, that's amazing. I still have my crosshair, so I'm gonna keep going. I was expecting to die there. And if you die, you lose your crosshair. So, there we go. So again, just, I am not, my bunny hopping is all just by holding the space bar down. That is not allowed in, actual speed runs, but it's a good way to learn. It's a good way to get used to the movement without having to have your perfect timing. And then you can, practice well, I'll show that later maybe. But I practice the scroll wheel timing alone. I'll just move in a direction, get to 320, and then here's my scroll wheel jumping. It's not bad. It's kind of, it's getting steadily better, my scroll wheel jump timing. But it's kind of nice to break down the skills into sort of sub skills. Anyway, I've still got my crosshair. So next comes the room where, actually, you know what? I'm gonna go out here and save. Here's a room where you do an NPC exploit, and you get that scientist in the middle there to move and open up that door. Let's see if I can get it the first time.
Ah, Gordon.
Hi.
Here you are. We just sent the sample
Go.
down to the test chamber.
If you're not quick, you'll got it. Sweet. Wee-hee. It's easy to see if he starts talking. You can't push him anymore, and sometimes you don't push him right, and it doesn't open the door. But it's about to go critical. So that's taken a little bit a while actually. The timing in this room here, it's really easy to mess it up, and that's the thing you can practice. The only thing that you need to know though is, oh, I lost my crosshair. That's okay. What you need to know is, well, first there's one trick that runners do, is they go in and out of the thing, because that for some reason makes that scientist react faster when you push him. I don't know why. But the main thing to know is that if you're going to practice this section, you have to save outside of it and then enter it. Because if you save inside here and you try the NPC exploit or NPC abuse, it won't work.
Ah, Gordon.
Oops, and see, I pushed in the wrong direction.
Sample down to the test chamber.
Because, yeah, so I have to reload it outside, or else it won't work.
Greetings. Ah, Gordon.
So, yep, see, it's really easy just to push somebody in the wrong direction.
Ah, hello, Gordon. Freeman. Gordon, it's good to see you.
Okay,
We just
here we go.
sample down to the test chamber.
And you want to push them directly at the door, not at the eye thing. For a while I was pushing in the direction of that thing in there and it wasn't working. Okay. I'm going to do this again later once I've, with a crosshair, but I'm just sort of walking through this. So like, this is, the rest of this is kind of simple, and then you go in here. So this is, you can save a few seconds by pushing these guys. You push them twice,
This is a rare opportunity for us. This is the purest sample we've seen yet.
and you can only push them when they're not talking.
Most unstable.
Now, if you follow standard insertion procedures, everything will be fine.
And one of the
Gordon doesn't need to hear all this.
one of the things that people do
We've assured the administrator
to save even more time
wrong.
Ah,
is
yes.
change the
You're right.
FPS to 4
Gordon, we have complete confidence in you.
Well, go ahead.
so that their animations take less time. Okay. If you notice the time skipping, it's just because I paused the video or something. I'm not really, in fact, I'm not really running right now.
Testing. Everything seems to be in order. 80%.
So they want you. So you press this right when the scientist says "and" after 80%. And then there's a bunch of waiting. Basically. So here's where I created a special save file for practicing the test chamber skip. The test chamber skip is like the biggest thing in this level. If you can't do it, your next second option is the Vortigaunt jump, which I haven't learned because it's been made obsolete by the test chamber skip. It takes a fair amount of practice. I'm still not great at it, but I can actually kind of do it sometimes. So the thing you got to do is change your you have to change this so it's pixels, and then you have to point your cursor directly there, like just right around that pixel, and then you have to point it right there. And this is why you need the crosshair.
Insertion for a non-standard specimen. Go ahead, Gordon.
And so here's where I'll save it there, and here's where I just sort of, you have to you hold on to it with E, and then you press D for a little bit of time. You don't duck, you don't do anything. You just gotta press it for the right amount of time. And there's a whole lot of, I did it right that time. It's gotta get up to like 18 something. And it's like frame perfect, so. There we go. And wow, and I actually landed right the first time. So the test chamber skip has two halves. One is doing that object boost, which if you don't know exactly what that is, that's grabbing an object and using it to fling yourself, because physics in this game are weird. And then once you get the object boost, and the point of the object boost is to hit this change level trigger. You hit that, and it changes level, and levels, and you get to this blah, 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 blah. So the first half is, getting the object boost, and then once you get the object boost, though, there's no guarantee you'll like survive. So here we are. So like, often what one can do to
What is he doing in there? Nothing you need to worry about, Gordon.
often something that a person can do to practice these independently is you can get yourself to the correct velocity by you hold D for a second and then press pause. And if you have two keys that have pause bound to them next to each other, you can sort of do that. And you can't really see it on the no board because it doesn't show all my keys. But right there I got it to 2183, and now I'm pressing tab again. Now I'm pressing quick save again. So, you know,
Gordon, get away from
if you die, which is often, you know, you'll reload at that launch, and you can then practice this thing, which is, the problem is, if you just let it launch you without moving, you'll miss the thing. So you have to, like, I've found that doing a little spin is what works for me, but some people sort of like, different people do different things. Like, you can press back a little bit, you can press, I don't know, I tried several things, and for me, doing a full clockwise circle was the trick. One thing you want to notice, interesting to notice, is there, is it not here? Anyway. So yeah, I've done this several times, and actually, like, I've practiced this bit many times. And I don't know why my HUD is telling me that I changed my name. Anyway. So yeah, this is one place where you can slow it down and actually kind of, I did this a bunch a couple months ago. I took a long break from whatever. I did this a bunch when I was first learning, and as you go to host, and on my system in this version, like, the frame rates are really weird, but like, this will get you super slow here, and then you can be like, you can practice things like, see, you can yeah, you can do it really. Woo. So yeah, once you successfully get through there, you have to get down on, you have to strafe over to this invisible kind of ledge over here. Where am I? And so then actually so those are the two main halves, and then, like, the little epilogue is getting down from here. There's a special trick you can do to avoid damage. It's called a jump bug, and it's you have to, like, jump and let go of crouch at the same time, right when you're about to hit the thing you're hitting, and I can't do it. So for now, I'm taking damage. Now I can switch my frame rate to 20, and first I'll put my so I've switched my frame rate to 20, which will lower my fall damage a little bit, but I have to land on that tiny thing, which is a hidden entity. There it is. You can sort of see it. You have to, I don't know what it is, why it's there, but that's what lets you get inside this window. And then you jump in here. And then to trigger that to happen, you have to go to the left. And that's kind of where the run begins, basically. I mean, up to now, it's sort of been a lot of waiting. And look, I'm so low on health too. But here's sort of where, like, you know, you just have to sort of run and escape, and then there's so many. There's a lot of little tricks to making this all faster, but it's I got killed. That's fine. So normally I have a little bit more health than that, but there's a trick here for if you bunny hop and you land right on there, and you can jump through. You can jump through that and not even need to worry about that opening. So you can retain some momentum, which is pretty cool. So yeah. Normally you would sort of barrel ass through here, but I'm gonna get some health. Just cause, you know, this isn't a real run. This is me, you know, practicing and showing stuff. So you get through here and you kind of just keep jumping and jumping and jumping, and here's where you get your gun. Hooray. Can you just go through here? These hound eyes don't collide until they hit the ground. You can kind of just bypass all these enemies and come in here and boop boop. There you go. Yeah. So here's where, like, the really good runners will just get a tiny bit extra time by object boosting that thing, which I don't think I can do. Might try. Let me try. Yeah, it's a process of learning. Then in here, there's a couple different ways you can go down here. Down on the, if you go down the right, you can kind of just slide down, and it's like, woohoo, yay! But then you get to this side, and you have to, hello, am I stuck? Crap. You know, then you have to get to the other side, which is whatever. You can get a pretty, you know, I've seen. You know, speedrunners get pretty cool speeds, like be hopping out of here or whatever, but you can also go down this side, but you have to slow way down or else you'll die. Either way. Now again, since I don't really have good b-hops here, I'm going for my runs, my non-runs. I do a wall strafe here to get some speed. If you do it right, you can get across. And you know, these are a little weird and annoying, but like, it's kind of cool to know and have like exactly when those things are triggered, because like this blue one right here is obviously like when I hit it, that's when that bull squid goes in, like right, and then when I hit this one is obviously when that does that. So it's good for training, I think. This takes me a few times. This works off the same principle as bunny hopping, which is you get enough speed, you jump, you let go of the forward walk button, and then you know you turn and strafe at the same time, and you gain speed. You can see by watching the speedometer there that my speed was going up a little bit when I turned. There we go. There we go. And basically the last bit of this chapter is an object boost right there. So I always save here because it's like, it's such a hit or miss. And it's so easy to just fling that thing off. If you're not careful, you just fling it off. And then you lost your object boost. Well, you can always keep the other ones too. Hey, that was pretty good. So what you gotta do is time it right and then jump all at the right time. You press E, you hold D, you let go of E, and jump. I found that here is another place, where slowing it down can be kind of cool because you can see, like, I don't know, it just gives you a little bit of a bigger window to do it, and it can sort of reinforce it in your head. Because I'm a musician and I practice things in different speeds all the time. Oh. And I think wherever you can practice things at different speeds, you should, because that really helps the brain learn. So, but of course, eventually, you need to put it back to the regular speed. And, this kind of thing takes so much dedication. You just have to do these things dozens, hundreds of times, perhaps thousands, and it eventually gets under your fingers. Like with these, it still is taking me like time to realize that I can hold D down still a little bit after I let go of E and then jump, rather than let go of D. I keep letting go of D, and it's all very precise. Sometimes I'll come in here and I'll do this on the first try. And other times, I'm stuck. There we go. I did it. Hooray! You could just keep going. You can, and you can do it from the other side too. You can use one of these. There's several of them. Different speedrunners use different ones. Like some will just come in, like, yeah, it depends on your skill level, and how much you're shaving time. One of the things I think as I learn the skill is, prioritizing the tasks and the techniques that are going to save you the most time. Because there's some things that save you only just, fractions of seconds that don't matter that much unless you're like approaching like a half an hour run. I personally don't ever expect to get below 30 or even, I don't know. I'd consider myself successful if I got to a run under an hour, honestly. Because it's such a commitment, and it's a set of skills that comes over a lot of time. And I'm also like older and crustier than most people who start learning to speedrun. So, but after a few times you can see I'm kind of like getting it a little more often. See that? So each practice session kind of like makes things a little bit better. That's fast. You see how fast that is? And that's just from grabbing an object and then letting go at the right time. It's a very strange... I'm continually surprised at, like, why they let object physics be this way in this game. Like, it's so obviously weird and broken. Like, if you can just do, like that, which, is not how real physics works. it's it seems like you want to test that a little bit more. So you have to get enough speed here and then jump right before you hit that busted catwalk, and have enough speed to really just fly over. Here's a place where you can take advantage of the pause trick. You can pause, press E and D, and then pause on pause a bunch like that. And that's fast enough, I think, so I can go, yeah, see, that worked. And so that's the end of the first chapter, and that's probably a good place to stop this episode of Azalea Jane Learns How to Speedrun Half-Life. Thanks for joining me in my saga of learning this seemingly impossibly difficult task. But it's not impossibly difficult. It's just a knowledge that I won't be very good at it for a while. But, you know, a year from now or 2 years from now or whatever it takes will eventually come. That time will be here. And if I practice this thing in the meantime, I'll find myself being able to do it. And I'm a kind of a firm believer in learning new skills for its own sake. I think it helps the brain stay plastic and helps one stay youthful and open-minded. And learning new skills makes you good at learning new skills. And if you keep learning new skills throughout your life, I think that's pretty cool. So, blah, 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 blah.